warning that was actually put out by the Pakistani Defense Minister. And in fact, the details of it that we have right now, Niranjan, of what Khwaja Asif had to say in the assembly. In fact, he says that he was basically recalling the fact that they have had multiple sort of meetings. This was while he was speaking at the National Assembly. He said that he, along with several senior security officials, had visited Pakistan, had visited Afghanistan, and they had basically warned Kabul that militants, that they call their militants who are operating from Afghan soil, should be basically reined in. And the Pakistani delegates had basically repeatedly asked the Afghan authorities to close their hideouts and stop patronage of the TTP inside Kabul. But having said that, remember, Taliban has been very clear about it, that there are several unresolved factors here, and that needs to be sorted out to begin with. And what's also essential to highlight is that Pakistan has not been able to fulfill any of the promises that were essentially made to the Afghans, and that is the reason why there hasn't been much of a cooperation. Right now, the Afghans have reached a stage where they are unwilling to have any sort of dialogue with the Pakistanis, and it's quite evident with the fact that on the high table in Moscow, Pakistanis did not have much of a place to begin with. Secondly, with regards to the Taliban government, remember, they are essentially now being supported by several countries, particularly if you see what happened in Moscow, where you've had Russia coming out in full support of the Taliban government here. And secondly, you have the Taliban's now reaching out to India for further help. Humanitarian assistance has already been provided by India. And what is happening with the foreign minister's visit to New Delhi? It is very clear that something more is brewing at this stage, and the Pakistanis are now basically retaliating, unable to cope up with the situation. Just to quickly recap of what we know so far, Niranjan, number one, that these strikes or these explosions that were basically reported, this was around 11:40 India time. Multiple explosions have been reported, is what I'm being told. In fact, eyewitness accounts suggested that there have been jets that were hovering over Kabul. In fact, some reports now also coming in, Niranjan. I'm trying to speak to a few people to get a confirmation whether at all the Pakistanis have actually used the F-16s to carry out these attacks. But at the same time, remember, there's no official word really coming in from the Taliban right now. They haven't. They have been quite tight-lipped. They haven't said a word about these airstrikes that have been carried out. However, there are unconfirmed reports that the TTP chief was basically targeted in these attacks that have been carried out. There too, there is no confirmation because there is an audio tape that has surfaced right now, and that happens to be of Noor Wali. And Noor Wali is said to be safe, is what the TTP is claiming at this stage. The Pakistanis are saying that they've been able to carry out a successful strike, eliminating the TTP leadership operating out of Kabul.
Okay. Right. Okay. We'll leave it at that, Shravan. We'll wait for more details because right now Pakistan has gone silent. Pakistan is waiting for almost 12 hours before they speak. 2:30 p.m. is when we are expecting Pakistani army to address the media. They've gone silent. As far as the Taliban is concerned, Taliban saying there is no report of casualties right now. So nothing coming out as of this minute. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's significant, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're watching this, Pakistan has launched airstrikes in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. A report suggesting that they've gone after the Tehrik-i-Taliban leadership, but we have no confirmed news of whether anybody was eliminated in the strike. No reports of casualties. We'll leave it at that. We'll come back. And this is happening at a time when the Afghanistan foreign minister is in India. Muttaqi is in India. So whatever he says tomorrow will be the headline. So we will be live wherever Muttaqi is.